Okay, hopefully you guys can see that, guys, gals. So oftentimes I will have women come to me or gentlemen and talk about this nagging pain in the bottom of your foot, the ball of your foot, the heel of your foot, and sometimes in the back of your heel, your Achilles tendon. And you can tell if it's plantar fasciitis if you've been asleep all night long and you wake up in the morning, you step your foot on the ground, and it's like glass shearing into the bottom of your foot, stepping on glass shards. It's super painful. So, today, I want to talk about what exactly is the plantar fascia, what are common causes of plantar fasciitis, why menopause can actually make it worse, talk about prevention, and then we are going to do an interactive called Short Foot. And lastly, we'll just talk about what to do when you're having those flare ups. So, what is the plantar fascia? It's actually a thick band of tissue that is on the bottom of your foot. Plantar fasciitis is when that band actually gets tight, irritated, and inflamed. And typically it's from being overstretched or overworked, or it could be due to an injury that might be above or below that soft tissue. Tightness also is a big culprit. So here are the common causes: tight calves and Achilles tendon. So the Achilles tendon is that skinny tendon that's in the back of your ankle, weak foot muscles, old shoes, going from doing maybe 10 minutes of walking a day to an hour. So a very quick increase in activity, significant weight changes, unfortunately, wearing high heels. Obviously, hormonal shifts affect everything, also the biomechanics of your actual foot. And what I mean by that is having flat feet, high arches, or what's called knock knees. So that's when your knees collapse in and your ankles turn out. Those things may increase your risk of getting plantar fasciitis. How does menopause impact this? We know that with the decline in estrogen, that we also have a decline in collagen, and both of those things are really important to all of our soft tissue. The plantar fascia is no different than any other soft tissue on your body. It can impact the integrity and the strength of the connective tissue, which is your fascia that is within your feet. So, we might see a reduction in the height of our arch. And that's when the ligaments are losing the elasticity. You may start to find that your arches aren't quite as high as they used to be. And that can contribute to flatter feet or plantar fasciitis. Having joint stiffness and pain, again, that's due to lower estrogen. And we know that less estrogen can make your joints stiffer and also increase discomfort in your toes, heels, and ankles, or any joint for that matter. Some women actually say that their feet spread. Your shoe size can increase during or after menopause. Also, at this time, our circulation and nerves may change. So we can have more sensitive to in both of those situations. Blood flow can be lessened and it can impact our nerve health. You might feel numbness, tingling, and burning, especially in your toes. And then also, we know with the decrease in estrogen that there is a decrease in bone density, perhaps, which can increase the risk of stress fractures in your feet. So, how do we prevent it? Stretch your calves and your feet daily. When you're doing a calf stretch, I'm actually going to come over to my gym area here and show you what I mean and how to stretch your calves. And feel free to play along with me. So, how do we stretch our calves? There's two primary muscles in the calves. When you're stretching your gastrocnemius, you want to take a nice long stride and keeping both heels down. I like to bring my toes facing forward if possible. And then you just bend into your front leg, keeping the back heel down, and you'll feel that big meaty part of your calf stretching. It is important to keep that heel down when you do this stretch. The next one, you're going to bring your feet a little bit closer, but again, toes facing forward, and you're going to bend both knees this time. And you're going to feel the stretch in the smaller part of your calf muscle. So those would be the calf stretches. The other thing, which I didn't put on here, is using a foam roller on your calves. Probably tough to see. So right above the ankle, place a foam roller there and just lift yourself up. And I like to turn my toes in and out and actually point and flex them while I do this. And basically, you're looking for trigger points. Also, you can get a lacrosse ball, golf ball, tennis ball, put it on the bottom of your foot, and just roll that while you're sitting down at your chair or while you're watching TV or while you're working. Those would work as well. Making sure that you are wearing supportive shoes during flare ups. I am pretty much barefoot when I'm in my house, which is most of the day. But I've also spent the last, since COVID, being barefoot. So my feet got used to it and they've definitely gotten stronger because of it. Another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is strengthening the muscles and all of the support muscles inside your feet. And then lastly, ice and massage. You can get one of those massage guns, put your foot up on something and then use that yourself or have somebody at home do that for you. And then getting a water bottle and filling it maybe 3/4 of the way, tossing it in the freezer, and just rolling that on the bottom of your foot. Okay. And I would do that several times throughout the day. How can you prevent future flare ups? Make sure that you are doing proper warm ups, rotate your shoes. So don't wear the same pair of shoes every day. Stay strong and mobile in the ankles and the hips. And again, I said this earlier, but don't do too much too soon. Gradually, you want to increase whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's in the gym or going for walks outside. Just don't go all in too fast. Gradual is always better. Catch the tightness in your calves early and have a routine where when you go out for a walk, maybe not first thing, put your one foot on top of the curb. So imagine this is a curb. You go out, you walk a little bit, both feet are up on top of the curb, and then you're just hanging the other heel off the curb. This is a great stretch to do. Maybe you walk for 2 minutes or so, and then you go and you do a calf stretch real quick. And again, the Naboso products. I also have a textured mat that I use. The whole idea behind something like this is that you're going to gain better strength by having these little nubs on this mat because you have quite a few nerve endings in the bottoms of your feet and in your hands. So if you're stimulating the surface of your foot, that's going to help you be a little bit more strong and it'll help with your weightlifting as well. Okay, so there's something called short foot, and this would be an exercise. There are quite a lot of muscles in your feet, and we don't even think about that, right? When we're doing our training of any kind. There was a guy named Janda who made short foot popular. And if you do tend to have issues with your feet, I would recommend following Dr. Emily Slickall. She's a foot surgeon, but she's actually somebody that has tried to find another way to help people other than doing surgery on them, which is pretty impressive because most surgeons, how they make their money is doing surgery. But oftentimes, you don't need to have the surgery. You just need to figure out what's going on, get to the cause of why you're having the issues with your feet, and try other means to help yourself out. I mentioned something about the intrinsic foot muscles. So, the smaller muscles that support the foot, they can be challenging to try to strengthen, but it is possible doing the short foot to actually increase the strength within your foot. It also helps enhance the motor control of those intrinsic foot muscles, especially if you have flat or pronated feet. Pronated feet is when you turn your feet in, makes your feet stronger. It actually can help you connect your feet to your core, and it's a foundation to stability. And Dr. Slickell talks about when she does her version of short foot, how you want to ground your feet, connect your feet to your pelvic floor, which is then connected to your core and to your breath or your diaphragm. We all interconnected, right? Okay, let's go ahead and try this. Get yourself a little space. You do need socks and shoes off. And you might want to, if you don't have great body awareness, you might want to start with just focusing on one foot at a time. So I'm going to go into a split stance where my left foot is slightly forward of my right foot. And I'm going to take my toes, lift them up off the ground, spread my toes. As I'm spreading my toes, I'm spreading my fingers. And then I'm going to place those toes back on the ground, but I'm still feeling the tripod of my foot. So the part that's underneath my little toe, underneath my big toe, and then the heel of my foot. And I'm just going to focus on the front foot right now. Bend your both knees. And all you're going to do is try to push your toenails into the ground. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis and you've gone to physical therapy, they may have done this with you, or they may have told you pick up a bunch of marbles with your toes. That would be another way to strengthen your feet. But the reason this one is a little bit better is because you're actually incorporating your core and your diaphragm. So we're going to try that again, but I'm going to cue even a little bit more this time. So you have the triangle of your foot, pick your toes up, spread your toes out, knees are bent. Now you're going to think about pulling your pelvic floor up, almost like you're kegely. And now I'm going to have you push down. You're going to take a deep breath in, and you're going to exhale and push your toenails down into the ground. And you're going to notice when you push your toenails into the ground, the arch of your foot is going to raise up a little bit. All right. Do you think we can try the other side? And then we're going to try both feet. See how well coordinated we are. All right. So once again, you're going to bend your knees. You're going to find that tripod of your foot. Lift your toes up, spread your toes out. Think about engaging your core. So a little kegel, right? Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, push your toenails down into the ground. Exhale. And then do that again. So splay, toenails down, exhale. It's a lot to think about. Lift your feet up, splay the toes, engage your core, push your toenails down, exhale, and do 5 repetitions. So splay the toes, deep breath in, engage the pelvic floor, your core, toenails down, exhale. All right, so let's go back to front foot or left foot forward. We're going to do both feet. Might actually be easier to do both feet. So knees bent. Think about the tripod on both feet now. Okay. Draw your pelvic floor up. Oh, Amazon's here. You're going to lift your toes up off the ground. Exhale and sorry about the barking. And push your toes and toenails into the ground. And let's do that again. Toes up, spread them out. Find that triangle. Pull the pelvic floor up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Toenails push down into the ground. And let's do one more time. So lift those toes up, spread the toes out. Deep breath in, engage your core. Exhale, toenails down and relax. The one thing I didn't cue you was tongue on the roof of the mouth. And why that helps is because it gives you a little bit more feedback for your balance, for your proprioception. So try that next time and add the tongue on the roof of your mouth. It's not as simple as it looks, but if you just take your time, maybe you start with one foot at a time and you just do 5 repetitions and your body will start to get used to the repetitiveness of it and you'll become better at it. So proactive foot routine, foot pumps are just pointing and flexing your feet, right? Ankle circles or just turning your ankles around. Again, calf stretch, rolling your foot on top of the water bottle, doing foam rolling, short foot, doing some single leg balance types of activities. So you're on one foot, single leg reach, and then pull that knee through, or you might just try holding. Immediately, what I'm doing right now is gripping my foot into the ground to help myself stay on my feet and not falling flat on my face. And then again, using the textured insoles, mats, and balls. So, what do you do when you're in pain? You definitely want to rest for sure. So if you're doing some kind of high impact activity like running or playing volleyball, something where you're doing a lot of jumping, you definitely don't want to do those activities, but you also don't want to become a total couch potato because we do want to have some movement. Just don't go crazy. Skip long periods of standing or walking on hard surfaces. Definitely ice, gentle mobility work, massage. I don't know that I'd want to use a massage gun on the bottom of my foot, but again, getting a lacrosse ball or a golf ball, or they sell actually the balls with these plastic nubs on them. You can try using those. There's also something called the melt method, which you can Google. That uses a rubber ball and kind of goes through some different movements on the bottom of your foot. Taking a Aleve or ibuprofen on a short-term basis. You might even just want to call your doctor and they can get you like a higher dosage so you're not popping 4 pills at a time. Using natural inflammatories like fish oil, turmeric, ginger, even anti-inflammatory food. So if you can get yourself to stay away from high amounts of sugar or processed foods, that's going to help with your joints in general, but it will certainly help when you have inflammation anywhere in your body. If you've ever seen the athletes, football players, whatever, whoever it might be, having the athletic tape, sometimes that can help with blood flow and also just supporting the foot itself. So athletic taping might help. And in some cases, you may need to get yourself a pair of orthotics. Orthotics and shoes to me are like a band-aid. I would rather figure out exactly what's going on with the foot and try to make adjustments and changes to either the calves, the ankles, the shins, something else is probably going on versus wearing orthotics. But sometimes you don't have a choice, right? If the pain is that bad. You may also want to try acupuncture, cupping, and or active release therapy. I have definitely had that done for lots of things, but when I've had issues with my feet in the past, I've gone to see my sports chiropractor and he always puts me back together quite well. So think about who you might want to see to help you out with that as well. Even getting a good massage, they can work on your ankles, your feet, and your calves, and that can help. Bottom line is it will get better. Your fascia is just overwhelmed. As we're getting older, we do have less collagen, elastin, prolactin in our soft tissue. And when we put our bodies to the test, and maybe we're not sleeping well, we're not eating well, we've got that extra inflammation already, our fascia does get overwhelmed. And making some adjustments can for sure help you. Really important to listen early and just scale back. Like I said, you don't want to become a couch potato, but at the same time, you don't want to be pushing through the pain because then you can actually create other long term issues and you're not going to heal and you won't be able to get back to doing the things that you like. So just be patient, listen to your body, and more than anything, try to be proactive versus reactive. If you are making sure that you're doing proper warm ups, you're doing foam rolling, you're stretching, that becomes way more important the older we get so that we can avoid injury. We can keep our bodies a little bit more supple. And when in the grand scheme of things, as we are changing, it's more important to be able to make the adjustments that we need to make, even though sometimes it can hurt our pride and we don't want to do those things. I'm talking to myself too. But long term, being able to do some things are going to be better than being able to do nothing. And really the goal is to stay independent as long as possible. Last thing we want to do is find ourselves in a wheelchair or bedridden because we've done silly things. Any questions on that? No? Let me see if there's any in the chat. I know, Pam, you've been dealing with some foot issues. Oh, the socks. So yeah, there's a company, actually, I can share my screen. Dr. Emily Flacal, the girl that I was talking about, she has developed a whole bunch of products. I'm going to try to pull up. And these are the socks. So I have these, the foot recovery socks. I was telling somebody about these studio socks. They're only 25 bucks, probably because they're red. She also sells insoles. So you can actually put these things inside your shoes. And I would imagine that you can pop them in and out of all of your shoes and just use them. And then mat, I have the training mat, this guy here, and I love it. Initially, I was like, oh, that that doesn't feel so good. But now I love it. And it did take me a few times to get used to it, a few tries. They actually have one that is just a mat that you can stand on. It's not quite as expensive, but it's much smaller. So say you work in a standing desk, this might be something that is great to have. So it's 2 feet by 2 feet. The one that I have is more like a yoga mat, but I love her stuff. And I think it was Kristen had even gotten the toe splayers. This is also good for your recovery. Yeah, Naboso splay. So you put this on and it separates your toes. And this was the neuro ball that I was talking about. So she's got some great stuff. And I just realized I probably wasn't sharing my screen, was I? Nope. Hang on a sec. Let me go back. Quickly got rid of it. Products. So here we go. This is what I was showing you. So the socks, these are the ones that are only 25 bucks. These are the ones that I have to the far left. They're great. I've been wearing them all day today, actually. And then here were the mats. This is the 2 foot by 2 foot one. And you can see how it's textured. It's pretty much the same. They have a yoga one too. I just couldn't imagine doing yoga on it. But now that I've used this guy for a couple of years, I probably would be fine with it. So anyway, good stuff. Like I said, she's a foot surgeon that tries not to do foot surgery. She can avoid it, which is rare. All right. Any other questions?